first self-help book was published in 1859 by Samuel Smiles. Self-help has now become mainstream. From cringe to binge, self-help is now starting to take society by storm. How many times have you caught yourself browsing social media, watching a podcast, a book recommendation pops up, the person on their podcast looks to have their life in order, and before you know it, you find yourself on Amazon, adding it to your shopping basket, and you purchase this new book. Only to find when this book actually arrives, you seem to do what you always do, where you skim through it and you put the book down. And then before you know it, you find yourself watching another podcast and you buy another book, and 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 another book. And before you know it, you've bought so many books, yet you're yet to read one. There's that great quote by Dale Carnege: knowledge isn't power until it's applied. With social media, I believe it's very toxic for us if you're not using it in the right way. It's very easy to see somebody doing something or somebody sharing something and you think you're missing out, so you need to go and get said thing. And before you know it, you find you've consumed too much knowledge that you're now sat there like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing, help. Yes, while there is a lot of repackaged, regurgitated rubbish out there, and some authors do just simply write absolute bull for the sake of it, there are some incredible books out there that can truly help you, but the way that you use those books and the information from them is truly what's important. I feel like a lot of self-help books can be summarized in one sentence. The secret to happiness is that there is no secret. I find that actually learning about someone else's life and how they overcome obstacles can help us to a degree, and a lot of the self-help books I've read is from people's experience that have overcome problems that I perhaps am facing in my own life. The truth of the matter is, most people don't even finish the book that they start. We're at a point in the new year now where most people's new year, new me resolutions have actually fell off. You'll see the gyms getting emptier. You'll see people going back into their old ways, their old eating habits. Life will have consumed them, and this motivation they had at the beginning of the year has now quite swiftly gone. And this happens every year, and you see it, and the studies have been conducted on this. I don't believe in new year, new me. I don't believe in, oh, it's a new year now, let's go and do something with our life. If you want to make a change, you'll make a change today. Whether it's the end of the year or the beginning of the year or the middle of the year, if you want to change, you will change. Most of us set ourselves a goal to just get through a book, thinking it's productive. However, we're not actually taking in and using the information in the book. You have to remember, knowledge knocks on the door of action. If no one replies, it departs.
What?
If we actually take action with what a lot of these books tell us, we can truly transform our life. However, we find it very difficult within the moment to truly take action. So many things that can occupy our mind, so much information to process, and our minds are consuming 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 90% of those thoughts are the same as yesterday. The same thoughts create the same choices. The same choices create the same behaviors. The same behaviors lead to the same experiences. If the same experiences becomes the same emotions, and the same emotions are our thoughts on a loop. And what happens is every day we repeat the same thing. Because all you're doing and all your representation of your self-image is you are this person and you are repeating the same thoughts. It's easier for our subconscious mind to just go back to the thought patterns and the behavioral patterns that we already have than it is to truly change them. And it takes so much effort to change them that most of us cannot be asked. So this is why when you buy the book, you feel great, you have the dopamine hit, and then you go, I'm not reading that. I know people myself that have always asked me, what book are you reading? What book are you reading? What book are you reading? And they buy the book and they don't read it, or they buy the book and they don't action what's in the book. I think the bottom line is all self-help books show us the actual work we need to put in, and we know the work that we need to put in and the things we need to be doing on a daily basis. However, we don't do those things, and that is the bottom line. You're lazy and you are not putting in the time and effort needed in order to unlock your true potential, and you want to sit there and you want to cry and you want to look for help and get attention from people rather than taking action and taking control of your life. Nobody is going to come and save you. You have to get yourself together and you have to want it. And that's why it's so crucial that you have a vision that you truly believe in and aspire to be, so that every day when you find it tough, you still get that thing done. Some tips I have for you to read better, take more from these books is, number one is take action, no matter how small that action. It's the key to making some progress. Another one is pick 3 things from a self-help book and put them into practice for 30 days and see if they resonate with you and if they truly help you. One could be cold showers, perhaps fasting, no blue light before an hour before bed. Try those 3 things for 30 days and see if your life improves. Number 3 would be take notes on specific things that you really go, whoa, I never thought of it like that. Take notes, highlight the book if it's your own book. Highlight it or just bookmark that and reread that. Get that information ingrained. See it as you're studying for an exam perhaps and you need to know that specific thing. Another tip would be avoid the mistake of blindly following the advice given to you in a self-help book. Just because someone says you need to be doing this, or you see someone successful doing said thing and you go, oh, I'm not doing that, but it doesn't resonate with me, but I've got to do it because that's how they find success. That's not going to work and it's not going to be a long-term sustainable habit. You need to find what works for you. A great example, a lot of the people that I look up to, Stephen Bartlett, Ali Abdaal, James Smith, they're not in the same situation as me. They don't have the same life. I have children. I have a completely different life to them. I'm not able to just up and leave. I have to have my focus on children, on my relationship, on bills. I'm not saying I don't have bills and of course other things going on, but a lot of my decisions are governed by my children and the impact it will have on them. So me looking up to those people all the time going, oh, they've just jetted off to Bali for a month to write in the rainforest, for example, realistically I'm not able to do because of the responsibility that I have. So I need to base the influence that I allow in my life on people that share a very similar life. Otherwise I'm just going to drive myself mad going, oh, but Stephen does this all the time. Yes, but Stephen has this lifestyle. He's at the gym at midnight. Well, I'm going to settle down because I want to get up at 6 in the morning so I have to do school lunches and school run. There's a very different life. It's not an excuse. It's just finding what works for me. And you have to be okay with that and not sit there with guilt thinking, oh, I'm not doing enough. You just have to find what works for you. Your social media platform should be a base of happiness and a dopamine hit in a good way where you can relate and you can be inspired by creators and people that are in the same life as you. A lot of the people I surround myself with now have a very similar life and we're working towards our goals based on our life. What I say to some of you may not be resonate because you don't have children, you don't have a missus, you don't have a home, you still live with your parents. That's fine. So you need to look at people that are in that similar situation. Ask yourself what actually stands in the way between you and where you want to be. What do you need to change? What barriers are holding you back? And how can you look to change them? There's always something underlying that you don't realize is causing you a problem. From what I've gathered, the best self-help books ask you to think critical, whereas the worst ones ask you to just blindly follow a step-by-step process. The self-help is about the self-you. Whatever content you consume, consider how it can benefit you in your own journey. Don't try to change your journey based on content that you're consuming. While it's great to take inspiration, it's very important you don't get into a self-help loophole, is that when you keep reading book after book on mindset, you almost start to tell yourself like you have a problem, where you think that there's a problem with your mind, and you almost get ahead of yourself and get toxic in your own mind where you're like, I need this self-help to become a better person. So you become almost addicted to buying and purchasing and watching self-help content, and it's not actually helping you get out of the realms of your own mind. And what it is your self-image and the identity that you hold is all wrong, and you need to go on a correction of the self-image and the identity that you hold. And it's very, very important that you do this. Otherwise, you will just drown in self-help. I will drop some of the books that help me in the description below. As always, guys and girls, I appreciate you watching the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you know what to do. Click the button, click the bell for notifications for when the next video uploads. I'll catch you all in the next one. Have a great week. Peace and love, gang.